Welcome to the Save Point podcast, Twitch show, whatever you want to call it. Hi, Grace.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am all right. How are you today?
I am wonderful, considering we just spent, a close an hour and a half trying to figure out some stuff. So we will we'll be doing what we can. So it's kind of been a fun week, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There has been so much going on because of E3.
Those fun little, letter and number put together,
Indeed.
But,
who knew?
Yeah.
So much chaos.
So much chaos. So I think what we're going to do today for this show is we're just going to kind of go over what we saw, what our impressions are from the conferences, talk about some of the games that we would want to see more, or what we've seen, and how we want to what our take is from them, the information that we've gotten, some of the highs, some of the lows, some of the whatevers. Thank you everybody though for joining us on through our streams. We did stream what we can. We had some fun little glitches, but those are fun growing pains when it comes to it. But we do have a little bit of news that we do have to talk about. One is that we are on iTunes, so please find us, subscribe on iTunes if you have that. We are on Google Play. We are on Podbean. We have officially been put on iHeartRadio. We're on TuneIn. We're on Spreaker, and we're soon to be on Spotify. So you can find us. Please find us. Find us on our Twitter at the Save Point. Find Grace at I have absolutely no idea how to say her name.
It is
as far
Jext.
As
Jext48 on Twitter, and on everything else pretty much I am Jext101.
So there you go, Jext. I will.
You got it. I'm actually amazed. I am actually amazed. Usually, even after I pronounce it. Even after I pronounce it to people repeatedly, they still get it wrong. So kudos to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm Dan. I'm FuzzyBacon27. So find me, follow me, tweet at me, all that fun stuff. I don't know. How do we want to get started? I think maybe we could work kind of backwards because Steve will be joining us later, like he always does. And I know that he really wants to talk about Bethesda. So we'll kind of maybe wait for that one on the end.
Jesus is sick, so that's why Tyrant Dominus is not here with us this week. He will not be joining us. His entire household is sick, and his voice is pretty much gone, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, but hey, all that fun stuff that went around. So what you'll probably see me doing as we're talking about this, I'll probably try to put up some of the displays up in the front so we can kind of see what we're talking about when we're talking about the game or whatever. So I think the first thing is Tyrant is here in spirit on the chat, so he just has no voice.
Excellent! Yay!
So,
hi, Jesus.
I think the first thing that we want to talk about is Nintendo, and Grace, you were there for Nintendo. So why don't you kind of give a synopsis of what kind of happened, what did they do, and then kind of what your thoughts were.
So basically what Nintendo ended up doing is, they spent most of their conference time talking about the new Smash game that's going to be coming out, which is really awesome and really cool, and there's going to be Ridley, and everybody's so excited that Ridley's going to be there. He's also gigantic. I think Jesus and I were talking about how, it was so hilarious watching the character proportions just in the little gameplay segments that they showed about how gigantic he is. But yeah, that's really what they spent most of their time on. They sort of went over the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee games. They spent a little bit of time on that as well, and they actually had a little talking segment about that, which was really nice, where they showed some gameplay and stuff like that. Not much, but a little bit about that. They touched on it. And then they also showed just a handful of other little clips that were all kind of sewn together of various games. One that I recall is Fire Emblem, because I believe there's a new Fire Emblem game coming out. And so, yeah, honestly, overall, it was a little bit underwhelming to me because it seemed like they were like, wow, look at these two new games that we have coming out that are really cool, like the Pokemon and then Smash.
But
And then
it's
that was about
Smash.
it. Yeah, and that's really, really great and really cool, and that's what a lot of people came there for. But at the same time, they're Nintendo. They're
Oh,
freaking Nintendo.
don't even start with that. You're gonna get the Nintendo haters after you.
No, because I love Nintendo. That's what I'm saying. I absolutely adore Nintendo. I love Pokemon. When I was younger, I adored Nintendogs and Nintendo cats and stuff like that. I don't remember what the cats one was called, but Nintendogs was amazing. I think there was Nintendogs with cats. I have those also. And just, oh my gosh, I love Nintendo. I really do. I live for Pokemon entirely. But they didn't show me enough Pokemon. I wanted more of that, and then I wanted more other things that weren't Pokemon or Smash. Like I was surprised at how short their conference was, it seemed. Because I feel like maybe it's because they spent so much time on Smash, it just seemed like their conference just flew by. Like I don't even think it was a full hour, if I'm remembering that correctly. I think it was like 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 47 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. It just wasn't enough.
From what I was able to catch with it, I think you're right. I think one of the things that I read about Nintendo is that they need patience, but they can't go too slow.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the games that they can sell. You have. You came out with a Mario at the beginning. You came out with a Zelda right off the bat of the launch of the Switch. You have that, and everybody knew that a Pokemon was coming, and you kind of jumped on that one early, which I still don't understand why they jumped early on that one. And then they have, everybody knew that Smash was coming, which is, they're wonderful, wonderful games. But I think you could have cut down what you were saying about Smash and added the Pokemon stuff to it. The other thing, though, too, is, yes, good and all of that. Like a Xenoblade 2 Chronicles was announced. I'm still in the middle of the first one. It's a wonderful game. I highly recommend it if you like a JRPG. It's a great game. But once again, though, it's like, where is Metroid 4? Yeah, they announced that at the beginning of the Switch, and we still haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, some type of form of an update on that. I think you're right. I think it was predictable. I think that's what it was. It was very predictable. It's let's show some games, but then let's talk about Smash, and then, okay, now we're over.
Right, it was just very safe.
Yeah. I think that's a very, very good word for it. It was safe. Though they did have one announcement and game that actually was released that day, and I think it's everybody knew it was coming, but the fact that it actually works as good as it does, and that was Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I immediately, when I got home, I downloaded Fortnite, and I wanted to test it, and I'm like, okay, how good is this internet connection going to be? 100 players playing this game, all of that. And it runs smooth. It runs really smooth. It's a lot of fun.
Really?
It's very interesting playing Fortnite because I have Fortnite on the computer. I have it on the Xbox. I have it on the PlayStation just to try them all out. And now I have it on the Switch, and it actually runs really well. It's very interesting playing it in a handheld mode.
I imagine it would be. I was kind of surprised, but then at the same time, I think isn't it also isn't that the one that's, because I don't play Fortnite, isn't that the one that's also on some phones or something?
Yes,
like
it's
that?
it's also on phones.
Yeah,
and all of
yeah,
that.
okay.
So I mean, it's on everything. It's that battle royale that that PUBG is suing because PUBG thinks that they stole the property.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so all that fun stuff. But I think obviously you knew it was coming, and I liked the fact that there was no more waiting period for it. It's like everybody knew it was coming to a Switch, and then they basically said, "Okay, it's here. You can download it today."
Yeah, that was nice.
You have that, though. There is a controversy that's happening with it, and it's really interesting. So, a a lot of people have the funny phrase that Sony does not play nice in the sandbox with everybody.
Yeah, heard that.
So now what people are finding out is that if you had your battle pass and all your information on the PlayStation, okay, and it linked to your Epic account, and you tried to log in on the Nintendo Switch, Sony is blocking that cross-platform.
Really?
So you get nothing from them. But if you're on the PC, mobile, or Xbox, all your stuff transfers over. So it's like if you had a PlayStation account, it doesn't transfer. And Sony's basically is their stance on it is they're not going to budge. They're going to keep it the way that it is.
That is such hot garbage. What on earth? I love Sony, but like what? I knew that they were... No, I know that Sony for a fact is really just nasty when it comes to trying to do cross-platforming anything, because there are so many people who are like, hey, it's on PS4 and it's on Xbox One. Like, why can't we play together and all this stuff? And it would be really cool if we could, like, play Destiny together or games like that. And it's just like, a lot of it is on Sony's end where they're just like, no, I don't want to cooperate. I want to be really mean and rude and just, no, nobody else. Only my system. Only mine. And it's just like, why do you have to be that way with Fortnite too? Like, that's really dumb.
You know, it's funny. Now, I could pull it up and, you know, maybe I will post it somehow or whatever. Back in the day, when there was a certain company that was dominating the consoles, and that's when Sony made a lot of mistakes, like the $5.99 US mistake. There was a opening that Sony wanted to go cross-platform with games. And I think one of the first games of that was Team Fortress that they wanted to use it for.
Okay.
And Xbox said no.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and there is something with that. So, one, for Sony to come back, or for somebody to come back and say, you know, Sony's not playing nice in the sandbox. Well, you know, Microsoft didn't play nice in the sandbox too. So, I mean, both of them are back and forth with each other.
Oh, absolutely.
You can blame one or the other, but they've all had it. And then, you know, on top of that, then you're going to have the PC people who are going to be, hey, we've always had cross-platform. We've been able to play on whatever we want. You know, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. So,
PC Master Race.
Yeah, PC Master Race stuff. I think my overall, from what I saw, I did rewatch Nintendo's. From what I saw is, it was wonderful. Like when they said every character is coming to Smash, I was like, oh, awesome. Okay, that's all I need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's all I need. You know, if you would go over and say every character that's ever been in a Smash game is coming and is going to be open right there on there like they did, that's all I would need. You didn't need to go into what felt like a half an hour video of them just showing characters.
Yeah, I thought
like that was such really filler. Weird.
I understand wanting to show like Echo characters. I would have understood, like, because I think that's a really cool concept. I think that's super cool. And I would have understood like wanting to show like the side by sides and stuff like that, like, because that made sense to me. And I understand Ridley wanting to show Ridley and, you know, new characters, and that's all fine and good. But it's just like, yes, look at this insanely long list of characters that we've seen before in all of the other games.
Yeah, it just
like, why would you just have that, especially in like the procession that they did, where it's like Kirby.
Yeah.
Kirby shows abilities. Link number 1 of 3.
So I thought that it was a lot of filler.
Yeah.
What happened? I mean, and if they were looking for filler, why did you make the Pokemon announcement? Why didn't you make it at E3? There's your filler. You know, that would have been, hey, you know, we're going to have, you know, we're going to have Smash on here. Everybody knows Smash is coming. But by the way, we're also have these Pokemon games. And besides Fortnite being here, we're going to have this weird, messed up Pokemon game that's, that's in there. So that's going to be able to be free for downloading. Oh yeah, and by the way, in November we're going to have 2 other Pokemon games, and then 2019 we're going to have a bigger core Pokemon game.
Right.
Right. So I mean,
that would have been cool.
So you kind of have that. They were calling for a possible new hardware. I'm glad they didn't. I don't think the Switch needs to be an upgraded hardware mid. I mean, they're only a year and a half in with that system. Just like I also heard that there might be a price cut on it. It's Nintendo. Nintendo never price cuts anything.
No, they really don't.
No, they don't. So
I still look at the prices because I still want a Switch because I've wanted one, but it's always been too expensive for me, the broke college student that I am. And now that they're coming out with Pokemon games for it, I'm like, dang it, now I need to find a way to get one. And I've been looking at prices on the internet, and it's just like, it's still quite expensive.
We do have a comment that the QOL updates were important, but they certainly didn't need to fill it with an hour worth with it. So that was from Din Narcotic on our chat.
Oh yeah,
I agree with you. I mean, it's like it feels like filler. Even if you take games that are already releasing soon, why not? Why not? Just fill it with those. Hey, by the way, this is what's releasing in a couple of weeks. This is what's releasing in a couple of months. And we've beaten this to death already. But I mean, I think that's our. So
I just feel like they could have spent so much more time on the other games that ended up getting kind of showcased a little bit, where it was there was that cute little thing of tiny trailers and stuff like that they did, and there are more games that are coming out that they're coming out with, obviously, and stuff like that. Well, yeah, they're smaller. Maybe they should have spent slightly more time on those, and then they wouldn't have had to do Smash per session.
So I had it up, and I'm going to see if I can't find it really fast. It was all of the games that they did announce.
Oh yeah, I have that up here. I can send you the link if you'd like me to.
Yeah, that Nintendo had up. Or why don't you go through it? Do you have the list of what Nintendo actually announced? Their actual game announced.
Oh, not for Nintendo. I have that list that our dear friend Steve sent us earlier.
Oh, that's all of the games.
That's the major release calendar.
Yeah.
That's the one that I have.
Which we'll go over that. I think the next thing that what we want to talk about is if we're going to kind of go backwards. I want to hold off on Sony. I think we can get into a different type of discussion with that one. Let's go to the beginning of Saturday, or not Saturday, the beginning of Monday's conferences, and the first one was Square Enix.
Yes. Okay.
So the thing with Square Enix, did you see any of this?
No, because actually.
If you blinked, you probably missed it.
I was going to say, I know it was really, really short. Because I tried to catch the ending of it. I was really, really busy that day, so I missed all of the conferences from that day. At least I think that was the day I missed. But I tried to tune in because I believe Jesus was the one covering that. And it was by the time I got there, I was 30 minutes late, and I was like, oh, I'll probably catch the other half of it. And it was like, oh, no, it's over. I was like, oh, okay. Right, sure.
Let's see. Actually, before we go into that, Square Enix, how about you give what's your final grade? If we go A, B, C, or D, even F, what are we giving Nintendo? What are you giving Nintendo?
I give Nintendo. I'll give them a C plus. C plus B minus. Just because there was way too much filler and they needed to show us more. They really only showed us 2 big things, and the entire conference was Smash.
The entire conference was Smash.
Exactly. That's not really. That's yeah.
I would give them. I would give them a high C.
Yeah.
I want to say B. I really, really want to say B, but I just can't. I can't say B.
I know, it's so hard.
It really is.
Because you want to, because like what they did show was was pretty awesome, but like, just the lack of everything else.
Yes, it's just yeah. I think it's just because of predictability. Everybody knew that everything was coming.
Yeah.
So, oh, perfect. We had somebody that actually came in and did it. So, Overcooked 2, Killer Queen, Smash, Pokemon. C. He's saying a C plus. Come on. Okay, maybe we could go C plus on that. I mean, I'll give you a C plus on it. I just not a B. I cannot even go to a B minus for that.
I'll give it a B minus. I think I'll give it a B minus.
Oh, you sucker!
Well, no, because I said C plus or B minus, and then I mean the other, just everything that they did show was awesome. So I think B minus is fair. I'm leaning more towards C plus, but somewhere in that range.
Okay. Okay. So back to Square Enix. So yes. So basically these are in not any particular order, because I don't think that they are in order, because they're not. I can tell you right now they're not. They showed off a game called The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which looks really. It's going to be free. It takes place in the Life is Strange universe. I don't know if you played Life is Strange,
right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I did see some of that.
That game is either going to be tears of joy or tears of I cannot believe you're doing this to this kid. Like It just looks so sad.
It does. It looks really adorable. Like I love that art style so much, and I think that it's really cool to turn that art style like into a video game. Like I really appreciated it in Life is Strange as well. When that first came out, and so like just to see that with this little kid and his like little toys and stuff, and his little makeshift cape and stuff like that, it's like, oh, sweet child, I must protect him.
I really just don't want like the ending of that to be like he grows up and like he still has the cape because he doesn't have any friends.
Oh,
I mean, that's what it feels like. Like nobody
know.
likes this little kid, so he has to make up his own friends and. I don't mean that to be mean or anything like that. It's just
I know what you're saying.
It's just such a setup for what could be such a sad, sad story.
No, absolutely it is.
But then it could also be a setup for a really, really great story.
That is also true.
So it's either way. It's as a free game though. I mean, I'm definitely going to download it when it comes out and just kind of experience it for what it is.
Yeah.
They had a trailer that showed off Dragon Quest XI.
That I did not see.
That you did not see. I like the Dragon Quest games. They're just, we could spend just on one game, just on one Dragon Quest, number. We could spend a whole podcast on. The thing with Dragon Quest, though, I think is it's either you like them or you don't like them. It's a grindy RPG. It's lots and lots and lots of talking and dialogue, but it's fun battles, and it's all that So yeah. So you have that. Final Fantasy 14. There was an update for Stormblood. It's patch 4.3 Under the Moonlight, which will bring Capcom's hit RPG to the MMO. It's a Monster World crossover.
That's neat. Yeah, because I didn't hear about that either, actually.
Yep. And Capcom, because I don't think it came out, they actually have in Monster Hunter World, they're going to have a behemoth from Final Fantasy. So, they're crossing over big time.
That's really, really cool.
Yep. Just Cause 4 was announced. That was a predicted game that was going to be announced. I don't know if you've played those or not, but those are just fun, destructive games. They're fun.
I haven't. I've heard a lot about them. They just don't really seem like my kind of game that I would really get into by myself. So.
And that's the problem, is that there's never really ever been co-op in the Just Cause games. It's always been a single player. But it's fun. I mean, it's literally you go and do missions and you blow shit up, and it's just fun. Um, Kingdom Hearts 3, an extended Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. See, now this would be number 2 trailer of the same trailer of Kingdom Hearts 3. The first trailer of Kingdom Hearts 3 was at Xbox. The second one was at Square Enix, and the third one was at Sony's. So this is number 2, and this debuted with Ratatouille, Frozen, and Wreck-It Ralph stages.
Yeah. Okay. Is this the one? Is this the one where we saw Aqua, or was that number 3? Yeah, Aqua. I think her name is Aqua. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in calling her Aqua?
Elsa?
No, not Elsa. Elsa is from Frozen. I'm saying Aqua, the character who got turned to the darkness.
Oh, yes.
The blue hair? Yeah.
Yes.
That is breaking the internet. Oh my god. I don't know which trailer that was in. I think it was in the second one. I think it was the one that was at Square Enix. If I remember correctly, I caught the end of this, and it was like, she turned around, and it was like, the darkness, and it was like, no, she's been taken. Oh my goodness. And apparently people have been freaking out so much about it that Nomura actually, like, spoke out and was just like, yeah, no. I mean, I know the entirety of the storyline, so this doesn't surprise me at all. But, like, I'm really surprised at how surprised everybody else is. Like, yeah, of course she went to the darkness. And everybody's like, wait, what? What do you mean? Because there are so many people, like, I have friends who are, like, holding out hope that it was like, no, she's gonna get purified or whatever. Like, no, she's not fully with the darkness. Like, it's a lie. No, definitely not Aqua. And so it's just breaking a lot of, like, theories and stuff like that, apparently.
Next one is A Quiet Man, which is it looks so interesting. Like, I don't know if the guy is deaf or not, but I mean, it looks brutal, and this guy just literally walks through an alley and, he just, I don't know if he can't hear, like, if there's no sound in the whole game. Like, I don't know. Like, it looks really, really, really interesting. I want to hear more about it. Supposedly they're going to be releasing more information in a couple of months. And then their first game that they showed off, and it looks spectacular, was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That really has been a niche for Square Enix, is to really push these Tomb Raider games, and it looks really, really, really good. Though it was really short. Like, it was funny watching the conferences, because it's like everybody started scrambling because they're like, we have 45 minutes of, like, filler that we have to try to find, because, like, Square Enix ended, and, like, people are like, what do we talk about? Like, one station just started playing Unraveled, So it was kind of really interesting. So that's why I said, if you blinked, you probably missed it. It was a very, very short conference. I think it just hit over half an hour, if not less than that.
It was super duper short.
So it was super short. As far as what they showed, I would actually give Square Enix a B. Just because it was time that was spent showing things. I wish there was more information, but it didn't feel like they were just trying to fill space. It was like, okay, we're done. We're going to get to the end of it. Which, if I didn't say that, I'd be contradicting what I said about Nintendo. So,
no, definitely.
So I think a B for Square Enix for me on that one.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say I would probably give them a B, because, I mean, Shadow of the Tomb Raider looks really amazing. It really, really does. But more of that, please. Show us more of that. And I know that they were also banking on, like, how excited people were over Kingdom Hearts 3, like, finally being released. Like, I get it, but, like, it seems like they just spent, like, all of their everything to be like, let's push Kingdom Hearts 3. Kind of like how Nintendo did that with Smash. I don't know. I saw kind of, from what I did see, it seemed kind of weighted in the Kingdom Hearts 3 direction, which obviously that's a lot of what the audience wanted. I don't blame them. It looks amazing. But, yeah, no, their conference was so short, so I can't give them higher than a B. Like, They just didn't.
Nope, they did not.
They fit a lot. They fit a decent amount of stuff in not very long. not a very big amount of time, I think, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, and I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think so. So we have that. So the next conference that came up after that was Ubisoft. Ubisoft, whatever you want to call them. And they had a lot. Like, they showed off a lot of games for them coming. And I'm trying to still figure out if it was good or if it was bad. Like, that's where I'm still trying to figure out with Ubisoft. Yeah. Just because once again, it's are they throwing, how can I put this? So I think one of the problems of that people come off with Ubisoft is that a lot of the games can feel very stale and the same. So like, you can play an Assassin's Creed game and then you can play a Far Cry game, and it's basically the same premise, just with different skin. And I've felt that before with Ubisoft titles. But the weird thing about it is that a lot of them are very good titles, and it's like, how do you keep doing that? So that's kind of where I sit a little bit with Ubisoft. But let's go through their conference. So they opened up with Just Dance, which wonderful. I mean, they always go with Just Dance. There's always a Just Dance. Have you ever gotten down and boogied with Just Dance?
Absolutely, when I was younger, and not
when you were younger.
When I was younger, not lately.
Not lately. Gotcha.
I am not good at dancing.
So that was announced, and then they brought out Beyond Good and Evil 2, which was really, really good. That was announced as their surprise game last year. And obviously people went crazy for it.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of the letdown with it, the little bit of a letdown with Beyond Good and Evil 2 is that it didn't seem like they did anything more in a year. Like, they're in the same exact place that they were. They showed off they showed off gameplay, but they showed off about 30 seconds of gameplay. Everything else was trailer. Yeah. Okay. I still don't know really what's kind of going on in the world. I still don't know if this is are you fighting melee on the ground fighting? Are you mostly in a ship and taking care of the crew? Joseph Gordon-Levitt came out. He's got hit record that company, and it says that they want you to pick the game, not the games. They want you to pick the songs and the art style, and if you produce something and you put it on here, it has a chance of showing up in the game.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, so what have you been doing for the past year? Like, I'd rather have no news than any. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. I kind of feel like that Beyond Good and Evil 2, I think that it looks really good. I think that it was really cool that we actually got to see some of the actual gameplay. So perhaps what they've been working on is fine-tuning a lot of the in-game stuff. Since the last time, I don't believe we saw any gameplay in the last time it was teased. And so I think that's really cool. And I do think that the thing with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think that's really, really cool. I think that's just a super cool concept. So, I'm really excited about that for the game. I don't know. I think that I would have rather had news rather than no news in this case. I just think that overall, the actual gameplay footage, even though there wasn't much of it, I wish there was more. I wish there was more of that. I wish that it was a longer trailer. I do agree there. But I do think it looks gorgeous. And I do think it's awesome that we actually got to see some of the actual gameplay. And I do think that it was really cool that they revealed the whole, like, you can be a part of it, you know, with art and music. I think that's really, really awesome. So overall, I think I'm pretty pleased with what I saw. I wish that there was more of it for that game, but I'm pretty pleased with it overall.
Okay. Next part, like I said, it's not going in any particular order. I just have that. So if I got the order mixed up, forgive me. The Crew 2 was shown. They're saying that that's coming soon. There's a beta coming soon. You can actually preload the beta that's going on with that. There was a For Honor update.
Okay.
So there's going to be a breach mode that comes through with this update, and it's called Firestorm, Fire March, something like that.
Something with fire.
They're actually going to have 3 different type of fighters. They're adding 3 more fighters into there, and that if for PC, For Honor the Starter Edition is free on Uplay. So if you haven't tried it, you can do that. I honestly was disappointed in For Honor. I don't know if it's just me not understanding the mechanics of it. I just don't think it was like I tried to get into battles with people because that's really what I wanted to do in Duel, and it's like people just spawned. It just spawned, or not spawned, spammed like one move.
Yeah.
And after a while, it's just like you couldn't get away from it. I mean, to the point of frustration of I usually don't throw a controller, and I was very, very close. I was very close. I think I played it for probably about 4 or 5 hours, and then the next time I went to go be able to trade it in, I traded it in because I just didn't want to touch it again.
After that experience.
So if you're a For Honor person, awesome.
I am not. That's one of those games that I heard a lot about it, and I know that there was a lot of hype about it. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll try that out. But I didn't have any friends that were playing it really. I had 1 or 2, but on top of the fact that I just didn't have anybody else really that was playing it in my friend circle, I was like, well, maybe I just won't pick it up. Maybe I'll pick it up later. Maybe I'll pick it up later. And then I just ended up never picking it up. So I've actually never played it, but I did hear a lot of good things about it.
Okay.
Although it doesn't surprise me that there is a spammable duel mechanic. Just that's so common in games where you can interact with other players in some sort of 1v1 type of mode. That ends up being very common, so I'm not surprised to hear that, and it is a little disappointing.
One of the other games that they showed off was Skull and Bones, which this looks like what Sea of Thieves should have been.
Yeah.
Or is striving to be.
From what I've seen, yes.
This game looks amazing. And maybe it's just because I have a love of wanting to be a pirate. If you ever ask the question, is it ninjas or pirates? It's pirates all the way. Always going to be pirate. Always have been a pirate. Never a ninja. Always going to be a pirate. From the way that you can customize your ships, that you actually have, I think the biggest thing is that in Sea of Thieves you're a crew. In this one you're a captain. You actually have your own ship. So I mean, I cannot wait for us to, for me to be able to jump in, and if I have a battering ram ship, or a ship that's equipped with a battering ram, and here I come over the horizon at my friends chasing down another ship, and I can bash into it. I cannot wait for that. I love customization. I just love being able to, especially if you think of the lore of a pirate, they got fearful when they saw certain flags. People did. So they recognize flags. So it's and sails. So it's you can actually do that. You have that. I mean, the graphics and just the look of the game looks outstanding. I want it. I want that game more than I think I want the other games that are coming out from Ubisoft. I really, really want it. On top of that, the homage to it is that You started out that naval battles in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And if you look at the back of my leg, I actually have the Assassin's Creed Black Flag logo tattooed.
That's awesome.
So I love that game. I love the naval battles in it. I love the fact that I can get up and be a pirate. So I just want it. I want that game. I mean, I was glued. I was glued to the computer screen the whole time. I think I was broadcasting with Jesus, and he's trying to talk, and I'm like, shh, 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 shh. Like through the whole thing. It's just like, shut up. I want to watch this.
Yeah.
So there is a mode called Hunting Grounds that was revealed. That's PvP versus PvPvE. So you can face each other. I think the coolest thing at the end of that trailer was after you beat, the guy's like, well, after you and your friends beat your enemy and you sink their ship, who says that you can't turn upon your friends? Because remember, you are a pirate.
Right.
So I mean, it's just going to be such a good game, or I feel that it's going to be such a good game.
No, definitely, it looks really, really good. Yes, all of the things that you said. I honestly have nothing else to add other than it looks really good, and I think it's going to be a wonderful competitor for Sea of Thieves.
So you're going to be my ally, and we're going to be pirates?
For sure. My namesake is actually an Irish pirate queen. So.
Oh, okay.
So there we go.
There we go.
Destined to be a pirate.
All right. Yeah, actually, if you come into my house, I have 3 pirate flags right now, and I'm getting more. So, in fact, I have Blackbeards hanging. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't think you can. No, you guys can't. Oh, actually, yeah, you can. Actually, if let's see if I can do this correctly. Right there. That's Black Flag. That's Blackbeard's.
I see it.
Flag right there. So.
I see it.
So yeah, among the children's toys that are there,
scattered behind you.
Scattered behind me. So sorry for anybody who's going to be downloading this on the podcast, the audio. Whatever. It's all good.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that for a second.
This is a game. The next one, the next game is I have no want. I don't care. I didn't like the Disney Infinity things. I didn't like that whole stuff like that. Like it got me. I was really, really hard to get into Amiibos. But this Starlink Battle for Atlas, where I don't care. I don't care. I don't want another game where I got to spend $1,000 to just play.
Yeah, I never got into the Amiibo stuff either, and like that was when I was really big into things that were trying to like go the Amiibo type of way, and like I still was like, oh man, that requires me to have an Amiibo for it, and I like looked at the prices for Amiibos, and I was like, oh, I have no money. I'm still a child, sort of, so like. Me being a broke teenager, I was like, this is dumb. And I like never asked for it. So I just never got into Amiibo. So yeah, when I did see this, I was just like, oh boy, another one of these things. Great. Can we move on?
Yes, we can. Elijah Wood came out and talked about a VR game called Transference, or let's put it this way. It's for VR, but you can play it normal too, or old school. You don't need a VR for it. Trials Rising, which is, I don't know if you've ever played any of the Trials games. That's the motorcycle games where you create. Reminds you like of Excite Bike.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I did see something about Trials Rising.
Which Trials to me is just fun. That's just a fun, like, I don't even take that game seriously. It's just like.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, like, no. Let's just blow shit up. Let's see how far you can blow yourself up. As far as that goes, the Division 2 looks great. I love that all the DLC is going to be completely free. There was kind of a theme, an underlining theme, if you noticed, and I think it comes back from EA, is that these loot boxes are kind of gone. It's like they don't
Yeah.
like we're not going to be this pay to win type sort of stuff anymore. And a lot of people are getting, it's like every game comes out and there's a season pass. So it's nice
Right.
to hear that not all of these are going to have season passes.
Which
Um,
is so wonderful. I'm so tired of that.
Paying extra money for a game for stuff that's already preloaded in the game.
Yeah, for the game that you already bought for like $60 or $70, like
Yeah, now let's pay another $25 for you to access more stuff.
yeah, I have to pay $35 for the season pass that's going to give me the things that I will require in order to continue playing with my friends in an equal level manner. I love
Yep.
that.
Yep. I found out that the game takes place in Washington, D.C.,
Yes. Yep.
which is really cool. So going back to the DLC, sorry, I didn't explain that. So there will be two
No, you're
completely
fine.
free DLC packs that come through, and those are going to be completely free. Or I'm sorry, three
Yeah,
DLC
free.
episodes in the first year. They will be free. At the end of the game, one of the biggest things that you couldn't do at the end of the first division was that there was really no end game.
Yeah.
So Division 2 has confirmed that it will have 8-player raids,
Yep.
which is going to be fun too.
I
Grace,
was
we're going to have a
excited
lot
for
of
that.
games that we're going to have to play.
I know. My dude, I gotta get a job. I gotta get some money. And then I'm gonna buy all the games.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you're on this podcast, so, people donate to us so we can play games.
Oh yeah, totally.
Even though we don't have any donation thing set up, but donate
We
to us.
don't. But
We'll take money. We'll find a way.
donate to us anyway.
You want to give us money? We'll take it. We'll find a way to get it.
I'm
And then
a poor college student who needs to be funded.
no release date on that, though. Oh, no,
Yeah.
wait. They did. They did put a release date on that. I apologize. The Division 2
Oh, yeah, that's right.
is March
15th,
Yes.
2019.
Yes, I should have known that because that's my brother's birthday, but whatever.
For a second, I thought you were going to say it was your birthday, and I was like, wow, you forgot the one game that's coming out on your birthday? What?
Let's see. And then the last game that they showed, and this looks amazing. And I don't want to talk for Steve on this if he's listening, and he said that he would probably mention it, but I agree with him 100% with it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. What it looks like is they took everything that people liked with Origins and things that they didn't like with Origins, and they got rid of the bad things and put more of the good things in. It looks absolutely amazing. It's the first time that you can either be male or female from the beginning. You don't have to from the whole game. You don't have to just be one person or the other for certain parts of the game.
Right. I saw that and got super hype. I got so excited when I saw that. Because I hate playing it. I honestly hate playing as male characters. I don't know why. My main character in Skyrim is a male Khajiit, and I'm over here like, I don't know why. That's like the only male character that I've been able to comfortably play as in a video game.
I like playing female characters in certain games, if you can. Like
yeah, right.
Fallout,
If you can.
If you can. Like Fallout, I started Fallout 4 again on PC, and I started with as a girl character.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's all good with that, which I think is really cool. I agree with you. I think it's really cool that you can either choose either or. It's in ancient Greece. Let's see. What else is there?
It looks very pretty.
Oh,
it looks like it's
looks,
very pretty ancient Greece.
It looks absolutely gorgeous. It has branching dialogue choices, which is different. Usually it's just Assassin's Creed was a very straight linear story, but then you were able to go out and go the way that you wanted to. It picks up modern day from Origins. So it's right where Origins left off. So you can kind of think that they either intertwine some which way or not. In fact, I think they even said that Bayek is actually in Assassin's Creed Odyssey somewhere.
Okay.
But he's not playable. The release date is October 5th, I believe. Yes, October 5th. And if you right now, what it's saying though is that if you buy a certain edition from the deluxe up, I believe. or the deluxe, gold, or ultimate editions on the PS4, Xbox One, or PC, you actually get to play the game 3 days early on the 2nd.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Really? That's cool.
Yep. Which I wonder if that's even going to stay, or if people are, or if they're just going to say, you know what, just release all of them.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
you know,
stuff's
gonna get leaked on the internet and all that, but the whole like difference is being able to play and not being able to play. So it might be an extra incentive for people.
Correct.
I mean, then again, 3 days. I mean, like that's a decent amount as far as like in video game release terms. But like, it's also not that much. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll really be worth it. I feel like people are just gonna buy it more so for like whatever else the other editions give, as opposed to and then the 3 days. Then the 3 days early will just be a little bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me. Here, I have like this little cloud that just wants to be in my face.
So what's your final thought? What's your final grading?
My final grading is I think I'll give them a B+. I think I'm going to give them a solid B+. I think that they did a really good job showcasing a lot of things in the time that they had. I think that they gave pretty much everything like a good amount of talking space. I think that they paced it out well. I think that everything they showed looks good and looks promising, at least. I mean, we might not all be excited for everything, but that's the other thing, is that there was so much diversity in the games that are coming out, I think is a good way to put it. Like how different Starlink and like Assassin's Creed Odyssey are, and then The Division is another one that's way different. So I don't know. I think that there's a pretty good diversity going on with this E3 conference. Like, and I know you were saying earlier about how sometimes you get tired of like the same title being reskinned. I think that this E3 conference really broke that up a little bit.
Yep. I can see that. I'm interested. Like I said, I'm interested in Skull and Bones. Obviously, I'm interested in Assassin's Creed. It's one of my favorite game series, if not my favorite game series. So that looks great. The Division 2, I already have a whole bunch of people that want to play that together. So, so it looks promising. Everything looks very, very promising. I would go B on there too. I think it could have gotten away with a couple of not necessarily talking about some of the stuff, but I don't think it hurt it that it did. I don't think it helped that it did, but I don't think it hurt that it did. So I think a B. The one thing that I'm getting sick and tired of is like that whole dance thing at the beginning.
Yep.
Like that drove me nuts. It's 7 minutes of people dancing. It's like, okay, we got it. It's just dance.
Yeah.
It's just dance.
Yeah. No, I agree. That was kind of like, you're doing this again?
Again?
Why?
So I've been putting up just the logo, but we're going to go on to Sony. And I'm going to put up a picture that people are going kind of crazy about. When it comes to this. So with the way that Sony opened up with this, like being in like a church, like even like Sean Layden even mentioned that, hey, it looks like a church. And then you find out that it really is a church because they go and they're talking about The Last of Us, and they're talking about a scene where it's actually being done in a church. It looks like there's a celebration, a dance of some sort. And then Ellie, who is, it supposedly takes place 5 years later. So that's, I believe, would make her 18 or 19 years old now. Okay. And she starts to dance with a girl. Okay. And she says, everybody's staring at us. And she goes, something to the effect of where the girl has to turn to her and say, well, everybody else should be terrified of you. And then this happens. And it's a very interesting take. So I don't know if you can see this, Grace. Have you seen it?
No, I can. Yeah.
Okay. So they kiss, and it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, here at the Save Point, we don't discriminate. Okay. So don't get us wrong on that. So it's nothing like that. That's the last thing that we want to say. When it comes to that, but it was a very interesting choice of a trailer part to me. And then what happens is it swings in and it shows Ellie, and it shows like gameplay of her, and there's different gameplay mechanics of it. You can duck now, you can go prone, you can climb on things better, you can jump in this, which is so you can definitely tell that there's more. And then it comes back and they swing back out, and they end up finishing their kiss. And then the girl looks at me and she says, "See, I told you, terrified of you." And Ellie just kind of smiles.
I think it was adorable and creepy in all the right ways.
And that's kind of where I'm getting at with it. Is it's such a twist on the story. That like why is that happening? Why is what's going through Ellie's head? So if you and I'm taking it a step back. So I'm taking it when we first saw the first trailer of The Last of Us 2, and that is Ellie is sitting and she's playing guitar, okay, and she basically the song is "I'm going to kill every last one of them."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the question that I have is this story going to be about this world? I believe that this girl's name is Dana, that she's talking about. Is it going to be? Is that like a flashback of her, and she actually is falling in love with somebody, and then Dana ends up getting killed? And now you're avenging this? Or like to me it's so like there's such a different dynamic that opens up with this. And I was like, I am so intrigued. Like I love The Last of Us. So my Assassin's Creed is my favorite series. My second favorite game of all time is The Last of Us.
Really? I didn't know that.
I love The Last of Us. I think Naughty Dog has taken a concept and ran with it and basically went no holds barred. We're going to do a game that we want to do, and if you don't like it, that's fine. Don't play it. Yeah. Is basically what their thought process was. So they did that. So that's my thought on it. It opens up the story so much. Like there's like I'm trying to wonder what's going through Ellie's head right now, and this is one of those little clips that kind of gets my mind rolling with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was a really good trailer that to just kind of lead you, the viewer, at the end of it to think, oh man, like, what's this? What's that? What's going to happen? And thinking of all the different things, all the different possibilities, like how cryptic that Dana's messages were, where she was saying like, oh, they should all be terrified of you. Yep, terrified. You know, that kind of thing. While they're kissing. Like, yeah. So there's endearing, like, sort of like tenderness between the two of them while it's being talked about how everybody else should be terrified of Ellie. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, no, I think that they did a really good job at essentially playing mind games with everybody who's watching it to think, oh, what's going on? And really the only thing is you just have to wait and play the game and find out.
Yep.
And that's really what it leads to. And I think it was really smart on the marketing end to be like, let's do it this way.
Yes. So, and then they decided to move everybody out of there and move them into another area, another venue. So they went to an intermission, which was really interesting. Like, I don't know if that helped them or hurt them. which I'll kind of get into my final thought with them
Mm-hmm.
about that. Though during that they did mention that God of War is getting an update. It's getting a new Game Plus edition, or it's going to be an update that comes through. So you're going to have a mode, new Game Plus mode. We'll go through some of their smaller titles, even though this is not a smaller title. But they really didn't go a lot on it. It's Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which was announced a while ago. They had a trailer for that. This is a really big one. They announced Control. It's Remedy's new game. Now,
Okay.
the biggest thing with Remedy is they made Alan Wake and Quantum Break, which are all Xbox, Microsoft games. So it's interesting that Remedy is now making a game for Sony, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Deracine, I don't remember seeing that. It's from Software. I don't remember what that was about. That's kind of spacing me out. Neo 2 was unveiled, which is going to be, if you haven't played Neo 1, it's like Samurai Dark Souls, and it's an outstanding game. I think it's very underrated for what it is. I don't know, have you ever played Neo?
I have not, actually.
Okay. You're a samurai, and it's like Dark Souls Samurai.
It looked awesome.
Yep. Resident Evil 2 remake that's coming out on the 25th of January, which everybody has been clamoring over. They want it. Kingdom Hearts 3, their third extended part of that trailer, and a special edition PlayStation Pro has been revealed. So supposedly, I have not seen it actually listed, but supposedly it's going to be $500.
Oh, that's a gross amount of money.
But that actually comes with I love the look. That actually comes with all previous Kingdom Hearts games plus Kingdom Hearts 3. So
okay, that's a lot. It makes more sense. It makes more sense with that.
So they have that.
Over here with that price.
They closed out. They closed out the show with Spider-Man, and the reason I'm talking about this is because I want to save what I feel is the best game that they showed for last. Spider-Man, basically, it's the new Sinister Six that they showed, which looked outstanding. Gameplay looked outstanding. I cannot wait for that game. I have collector's edition paid off. I cannot wait for the 7th. I'm actually half tempted to take a day off of work for that game, if I can. But no, I cannot wait. I just cannot wait for that Spider-Man game. From there, and Grace, if I'm going too fast, you just tell me to shut up so you can say something.
You're good. Honestly, I haven't had much else to add on other than what I already have. So.
Death Stranding, they showed some gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked a little bit, we talked extensively about possibly what that's going to be. I think the timeline, it didn't follow exactly what the leak told us.
Right.
But it does look like there's a certain type of timeline thing with it. I love the fact that the baby mooned us right at the beginning of the trailer. So it just looks great. Though I am calling it, I'm making a prediction right now. That's a PlayStation 5 game. That's not a PS4 game. Yeah, that's not a PlayStation.
Right. I think
that's a PS5 game.
I think that's fair. I'm kind of thinking the same thing. I feel like it's still kind of early on, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's developing it for the PlayStation 5. I think it's going to be a launch title on the PlayStation 5.
I could definitely see that. Yeah.
I just don't see. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I just think it's a PlayStation 5 game. And then what I feel that their strongest game was, and that's Ghost of Tsushima.
Tsushima, yeah. Oh my goodness.
It looks gorgeous.
It looks beautiful.
The gameplay with it that they showed an extensive gameplay trailer, and it's just I'm already intrigued on the story. I'm intrigued on the character. The fact that you're going and the cherry blossom leaves, I believe, flowers that have fallen to the ground with that bright red in a sunset Japan, okay? and they are
Mhm.
fighting, and the flowers are shuffling under their feet. I mean, it's just such
Yes.
a I was just blown away by that.
No, I know. It's like there's so much going on graphics wise the entire time, but it all manages to look really, really beautiful and it all meshes together so nicely.
Yes,
It's like it's crazy how good it looks.
and there's no like HUD.
Right.
So you don't even know like what the button combinations are. Is this game going to be true in nature of, is it going to be more realistic? Is there going to be magic to it?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing more than we know about it. And it was Sucker Punch coming up and saying, we want to do a different game. And we've been working really hard and we want to make a game that looks damn good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it looks damn good.
I think that's really what they wanted to showcase. I think they really, really wanted to showcase the appearance. Because I think they wanted to be like, hey, look at this new thing that we're doing. But, like, don't pay too much attention to, like, the fine details of it yet, you know? Like, as far as, like, what you were saying. Like, is it just going to be traditional, like, swords, katanas, stuff like that? Or is there also going to be magic? You know, like, what else is going to be involved? We don't know. And I don't think they really wanted to tell us. I don't think they wanted to tell us that yet. I think that they wanted us to focus on getting drawn in by the graphics and by what little bit of gameplay they did show, and how, I mean, even though there was no HUD, like, that also just kind of, like, I feel like that was a way to almost emphasize the beauty of the game in the gameplay, because you're not distracted by the HUD, you're not distracted by anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Because, people would pick that apart.
Oh yeah.
I don't like I don't like the map here. I don't like this here. This doesn't look good here. We're just going to show gameplay.
Yeah.
So I did forget one game, and this, I said I would save the game for last. This is by far not the best game that they showed, but I'm really happy that it's coming. So it's a game called Beat Saber.
Oh,
it's
okay.
for the.
Not what I thought you were going to say. But
it's a PSVR game.
That's why I just flew over my head.
This is literally, you have two lightsabers, and to like techno music or regular music, you break blocks and you slash blocks. It looks amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it was on Facebook. There was a video of a girl playing with it, and it was just like, wouldn't this game be awesome, whatever, and she's just like, that's the game.
Going nuts.
Yes. So there's no release date on it. I am getting that game. I want that game. I looked at the thing in Best Buy because they do have it up where you can actually buy it for the Vive. Okay. Yeah, it's for the Vive. And but you need a computer and all of that. So it's actually coming to the PSVR, so I cannot wait for that. But that was a side note.
After you get it, I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna play it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I'm going to invite anybody that actually wants to come over and play it, because I think I love games like that. Like, I love like music games like that, unless like I'm not a big fan of Rock Band.
Unless it's Just Dance 2019.
Yeah. I don't like making a fool of myself because I have to. I like making a fool because I'm trying to do something.
Absolutely. Like rhythm games and stuff like that. I know what you're talking about. There is one thing that you are forgetting, though.
What?
One announcement that sort of like flew under the cover because of the weird intermission thing that they had. Destiny 2. The update that they showed for Destiny 2. And how all it was, really, was a teaser trailer that showed what looked like Cade getting murdered. And
is this because I don't care about Destiny?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Is that why you forgot it? Because it happened.
Yeah, I don't care about Destiny. Actually,
well, I care about it.
I was told, though, that by somebody that Cade 6 had to die for it to continue.
But I don't want Cade to die. I love Cade. Cade's one of the things that keeps me going on Destiny.
It's just something about Nathan Fillion. It's like everything he touches just dies.
I know.
Firefly.
Firefly is super dead, and it needs to not be dead. I know.
I'm going to get so much backlash for that one. But
no, your words, they ring true. But that was really like, I don't know. Because I was expecting them to talk more about it. I was expecting them to like explain more about like the actual year 2 and stuff like that. Year 2 of Destiny 2. And then they were like, here's a teaser trailer with crazy stuff in it. Spend $70 more to find out what happened.
I think what's happening with that is obviously there's not a good taste in people's mouths about Destiny right now. They feel that there's been some or should there be? And PlayStation has made this significant investment into Destiny.
Yeah. From
the first one and the second one. So I think what Sony basically is doing, saying, hey, yeah, we still have this and we're still good with you, but we're going to put you in the corner and just stay in the corner. You know, we're better for you to be seen and not heard. Yeah, we're still supporting you, but just stay over there.
But how are they going to do that? How are they going to just like try and be like, hey, we're going to put you in a corner. We're going to show like a very small like teaser trailer or whatever at E3 and then just like drop a season pass DLC. Like if you want everything that's going to be coming out in year 2, spend $70 more on the game that you already bought for stuff that should have been in the base game anyway, because the base game was an incomplete game that didn't have nearly enough exploration into the major characters that were revealed, and it just makes me angry. I get very, very upset about this.
Do you need something?
No, I feel better now.
You feel better now? Do you need a fan? Do we need to put a fan on you?
No, it'll be too loud. Mike will pick it up. Otherwise, I'd have one on. My room is very I'm sweating slightly.
But if Ghost of Tsushima, I think, is my second favorite game that I saw.
I think that's fair.
I have another one which we'll get to, so we haven't talked about this one. But I think that's my second favorite game out of all of them that I saw. And it looks amazing. I mean, that's going to be definitely a day one. I'm also thinking too that one is a PS5 game too.
Yeah, I could see that.
If not right at the end cycle. If not right at the end cycle of the PlayStation 4. That's like going to be their going out with a bang game.
Yeah, I could see that. You get people who play on the PS4, but also want to play the PS5, and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see it.
So my thought right now with that is, my grade for Sony is, I'm going B+. And the reason that I'm not doing A is I don't think they needed to do that whole thing that they did in the beginning. It's like, we're going to put you in this place, and then we're standing room only, and then we're going to move you, and we're going to have this little intermission thing. Like, the new format threw me off.
I agree entirely.
The biggest thing too with Sony is patience that I thought that they had to do, and I don't know if I went over this on our last podcast. I thought that they had to show patience a little bit. They have a lead, okay? In the console. They do. They don't need to show their hand. They don't need to show release dates for everything. I mean, they already have some really big games coming out that are going to be hitting the platform. Third-party, multi-platform, and exclusive. So if you really think about it, they have, Assassin's Creed is going to be a big one that's coming out. They're going to be having, right before that, a couple weeks before that, is going to be Spider-Man. Red Dead Redemption is going to be on there. That supposedly is getting exclusive content for the PlayStation. As far as that goes, you have Days Gone that's coming in February, which is another what looks like great exclusive. On top of that, you already have you have the remake for Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, for Resident Evil. I don't know why I thought Final Fantasy. For Resident Evil 2. You have Kingdom Hearts coming out with an exclusive limited edition PlayStation. So you have a lot of these things. So you didn't need to throw these release dates that probably would ultimately end up getting delayed anyway on The Last of Us, and Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima. But look at that. You already have 3 games that are now sitting in the queue that now you've bought some more time for.
Yeah. No, so I can see that entirely, yeah. I think that they did a good job. I just think that in a way their conference got super messed up by adding in that like weird intermission thing and how they were doing that, because that was apparently I didn't see the Sony conference. I was not there for that, so I'm just going off of what I've heard on the internet. But apparently it was a long pause. It was a pretty decent pause. And a lot of people were unhappy about it. And I don't really blame them. I didn't see it live. I'll probably I might go back and watch it fully. I don't know. I've never been a fan of watching I've never been a huge fan of watching teasers for games because I really like to be surprised. So if I see really pretty art in a game or something like that, or I see something like that I like, that's usually what gets me to buy a game and try it.
Okay.
So that's just how I work. I did like watching the conferences that I did watch, but it's not something that I'm oh no, I missed it. I must go and watch it now. That's just that's not usually how my brain works. So I haven't actually watched the conference. I've just been reading about it online. And so, it sounded like it was a long pause. It sounded like there should not have been a long pause. It sounded like it was a really weird pause. I also feel like what they're doing with Destiny 2 is kind of it's bothering me as somebody who's been playing Destiny since it was in beta. So I'm I don't know. That game is kind of that's my shooter. That is my shooter baby, because that is the first person shooter that I ever played. And that's what got me so accustomed to playing shooters. And I have now moved on my own to other ones like Warframe and Borderlands. But, that game is my baby, man. And it bothers me that they're being so rude to my baby. Because, I don't know.
Oh, how dare they?
I've already said it. $70 for year 2 is going to be, it's way too much. And I've already explained why. So it's just that bothers me a lot, especially that they're just we're going to show you a teaser trailer of Cade getting murdered by this guy. So,
we can show it again. You want me to show it again?
No! I don't want to.
Are you sure?
I don't want to see it. I'm sure. I don't want to see it. I'm just not going to look at this.
So what's your final grade?
My final grade, I'll give it a B+. Because everything else is pretty solid. But yeah, I'll give it a B+.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so moving on.
Apologies for my tangent.
We have 2 more, and I'm waiting to see when Steve is going to join us. He said that he was going to be here in 15 minutes, and that was about 15 minutes ago. We're going to get on to Xbox.
Okay.
Now, I am not sure what is going on with Xbox and what they feel that they can get away with. And where they think that their thought process is. When it comes to this, and I'm trying to really figure out how to okay, so they toted that there was going to be 50 games that they were going to show.
Yep.
Okay, and that's great. Now, the one thing that I want to know is what's the difference between a launch console exclusive and world premiere.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
Like what they were trying to show is like launch exclusive or launch console exclusive. Like nobody's launching a console. Like what?
Right.
Like what? Where now? Does that mean that it's going to Xbox first? Because he said that there was going to be 18 games that are going to Xbox first, or there were Xbox exclusives. Now, when Phil Spencer is who I'm talking about, what gets me with this is that if you're going to say exclusive, then it better be exclusive, not timed. Don't fuck with those two words. Okay? It's very, people get pissed off when you start messing with that type of wording back and forth. Yeah. Don't call it that it's going to be exclusive on your console if it's going to be going out on PC or it's going to be going out on another system because it's just timed. That makes that to me that's a way of false advertising what you're trying to show. That's my little PSA for that. Now, if it's exclusive, that means it's going straight to Xbox, staying on Xbox. It's never going anywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
So, like here, like this is what kind of threw me. Like this said, launch console exclusive.
Right.
Okay. The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which we already talked about.
Right. Right.
Which is not just going to Xbox; it's going to PlayStation. And so, I mean, it's like, okay, so it's like right then and there, you're throwing a mixed message. But we'll go on. They talked about Battletoads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got that. There's new playable characters for Cuphead, which if you haven't played Cuphead, is wonderful.
Oh my God, and she looks adorable. She looks so cute. I love her already.
So right now I'm counting 2 exclusives that are just staying on Xbox. Mm-hmm. Crackdown 3, which got delayed till 2019, which we'll come back to on that one. On my Devil May Cry 5. So right now I only have 3.
Very exciting.
Right now I only have 3 exclusives that they showed for Xbox that are not going multi-platform. So Devil May Cry 5, The Division 2, Dying Light 2, Fallout 76, which we'll get into when Steve gets
here.
Oh, yes. We're going to talk about that a lot.
Steve!
Oh, Steve is here.
Hello, surprise.
Right, Steve is here.
Excellent timing.
So let's see if we can't. Hey, let's pop on your video. Can you pop on video?
Yep.
Let's see if we can get you set up. And you fell right into what I wanted you to do. Awesome. So right now, Steve, we're going through Xbox. You're very, very dark in your room if you didn't know that.
Let's give it my monitor's being weird. There, it should be good now.
There you go. So we're talking about the Xbox conference, and we've saved Bethesda for you. So
yeah.
So we'll get back to Bethesda.
Cool.
Let me just change this image before people go crazy on me.
Crazy.
And we're just kind of going through the games that they were announcing and all that fun stuff. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble here.
That's cool. I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt too because I didn't get the memo, but I saw. So.
All right.
Yeah. Fabulous.
I've started a trend on accident.
So, and for some reason we think that Grace is frozen.
Oh, is she? Oh no.
Grace is frozen. We'll see if your video catches up. If not, we'll have you disconnected and come back. Why don't you do that? Hey, Grace, why don't you do that, and then I'll add you back into the call.
Okay.
There's never going to be a... There she goes. There she goes. Now we're working. Cool.
Hooray.
Are we ever going to have an episode where we don't have some form of technical difficulties?
No.
That was like tiniest of all technical difficulties. I accept.
Yeah, actually, this one's been going really, really smooth.
Indeed, don't curse it.
So right now I'm counting that we have 3 exclusives that are staying on Xbox, okay, from what they have announced. And now remember, they told that they have 18. Okay?
Right.
Forza 4, so that's 4.
Yep.
Gears of War, So I'll go 5 and 6 because they have the Funko game. Or is that going mobile?
That's a good question. I don't
The mobile
actually
game.
know.
Well, I'm tossing that. That's only going mobile. So there's 5 right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Halo Infinite. So there's 6.
Yep.
They announced Jump Force, which looks amazing. Any
does.
anime character and they're just gonna fight each other.
That's awesome.
Did you hear about that, Steve?
Oh yeah. I saw a trailer for that. That looked interesting. I'm not really one to watch anime, but I understood some of those characters, and so it looked cool, looked fun.
I'm super into anime all the time. And
Yeah, me too.
I am a Naruto fangirl ever since. That was the first anime I ever watched.
That's Headband guy, right?
Yeah, it's Headbands guy.
All right.
Turns into a big fiery fox, and it's a good time.
All right.
So I'm super excited for it. I think it's going to be awesome.
Cool.
Okay. So Just Cause 4. So we're still at 6. We're still at 6 exclusives. Okay. Just Cause 4, Kingdom Hearts 3, which was the first trailer of the many trailers that they showed, or the extended edition. Metro Exodus, Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Looks so cute. I love it. Sorry, I'm so excited about that game. I need it in my life.
PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds gets an update. I'm not counting that because it's already released. Yeah. Sea of Thieves got an update. Once again, it's already released, so I'm not counting that. And then Seiko Shadows Die Twice. Now, I don't know if that's... Is that an exclusive? Or is that... No, that's going to PlayStation 4 as well.
I was going to say, because isn't that one the one it's Samurai Dark Souls?
Yes.
Is that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, that's going to PS4 as well.
So my thing is that there's 6 games that are full front exclusives, which is cool. Okay, great. But you toted 18. That's 12 short. Now, I think they went through a couple of indie stuff. Now, if the indie games are going, that's great. But I don't want to knock indie because indie games make the industry better.
Mm-hmm.
These little indie games, sometimes you can just find a treasure and they're wonderful. But don't count it as an exclusive unless you're really going to fully support that indie. And don't tell me that you're fully supporting the indie.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Because they've got their like indie program through the Xbox thing, right? That's support, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I just don't see it being a way of. I think it's a cheap marketing trick to say, "Hey, by the way, we have 18." When really you only have 6. You might have 12 indies that are going, and that's great.
That's numbers.
Yeah,
yeah. They're gonna count every little thing that they possibly can to put out a big number. That's marketing. That's so that we can come on a podcast and talk about the numbers. It's fine.
I do agree with you. Yeah.
So they did have that. And then I think the highlight, and yes, it's been a long time. We knew it was coming, so it wasn't really a surprise to me. We just didn't know when it was coming. Was Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
everything I have spent the last 3 days learning everything about that and Fallout 76. Supposedly there was a 90-minute video that's been showed behind closed doors, which I hope they release. And everybody that's coming out of there is just saying the game looks incredible.
Well, just the trailer looks incredible.
Yeah,
2070.
it does.
I mean, it
Absolutely.
had the little banner at the bottom, like in-game engine footage. Like if that wasn't there, I would say, oh, it's just a render, like maybe in their game engine, but it's pre-render that they're showing stuff off. But if that's really what the game is, it looks astounding, just from the art style down to the graphics. Yeah.
As far as what I've heard coming out of this is that you're like a gun for hire, basically, and you do missions. People call you up, you have an apartment, and you go around Night City, and they said that they take liberties with the F word and the C word.
The C word?
The C word.
The
word. The see you next Tuesday word?
Yep, see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I know that word.
Yes. So, but so I think the thing is, I love the theme. The theme is done by a group called Hyper, and the title is called Spoiler.
That's cool.
I'm sorry?
I just said that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So if you want to look it up, the title, like I said, the music that was playing in the background for that trailer, it's called Spoiler. The artist is called Hyper. I've known about this song. I've heard the song before. So like, it just fits. To me, it just fit. Like there's certain times that a trailer will go through and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. But then there's times that a trailer the music that they picked for it just fits what the thought of the game is. And that got me. Like that music got me. And I'm just so like, it made me excited. It made me excited for that game. And that's why it's my favorite game of E3 this year. It's just because it made me excited to want to learn more about it. And the other one that we'll talk about when we get to Bethesda, obviously, is Fallout 76. Like I was on that, and then it's like I saw the Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm just like, or I saw the Cyberpunk 2077 first, and then Bethesda went that night, and I'm like, okay, Fallout is great, and I went back and forth, but it's like I still, in my searches, still wanted to know more about Cyberpunk 2077 than I did about Fallout 76. So
I will also say that I am really excited about Cyberpunk 2077 because I think it looks really amazing. I think that the missions aspect is like really cool, how you can like pick up almost like bounties and stuff like that and different things to do. I think that that'll be awesome, especially in the universe that they've created, even in what we've been able to see, not to mention that video that you were talking about that other people have seen behind closed doors. Hopefully we get to see it at some point. I would really love that. I would love to see more.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're absolutely right. Everything that they showed us, I think they did a really amazing job because it just makes me want to know more about the universe. It makes me want to know more about the characters. It makes me want to know more about what we're going to be able to do fully once we get into the universe and like what the game is going to be, because it's all very, very exciting, and the game itself looks really, really good. Like the fact that what we did get to see for like in-game was not pre-rendered, it blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really amazing,
mm-hmm.
and it's exactly my style of game. Like I love the idea of Cyberpunk. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, what really blew me away about that trailer was the sense of world that it gave. There's sometimes you watch trailers and you go, oh, this piece is from that world, or this piece looks like it's from this. That looked like its own thing. And in a way where all the pieces came together as a whole, it seemed believable. It looked like a real world. There was zero aspect of it that looks out of place. All of it looked like it fit and it matched, and it was just perfectly beautiful altogether. And when they're able to do that with a world in a trailer, be it a TV show, a movie, a comic book, whatever, when you see this world come together and it looks real, you just want to know everything about it, every little aspect. You want to look in every nook and cranny. And then when you see, oh, it's a role-playing game, it's a first-player, first FPS role-playing game, whatever you want to call it, you are going to be in that world. And that is so exciting. So exciting. Plus cars. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like driving games too, so that's fun.
Plus cars. Plus cars.
And I've got to say, Grace, you look like you're in that video game right now. Like you just need more like neon behind you and some submachine guns and like 5 computers in the back, and you're in there. You're there.
Aren't you glad she's on our team?
I'm so glad. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna fit right in.
Okay, so for Xbox, Steve, since you just came in, what's your final thought? What was your final thought on the Xbox briefing?
It was fine. period. Like, I don't remember. I'm trying to think back what I remember of it, and nothing's popping out, and so that's telling to me. I don't remember any one thing that was like, oh wow. So it was probably fine. I watched the whole thing. I can't tell you. Let me think. What's coming out? There's a Halo. I don't care about Halo. The Crackdown. I don't care about Crackdown. Forza. Okay, maybe. It's been a while since I've played a Forza game, so I might jump back into that one of these days if I feel like it. What else was there? I don't even remember. Is there a list somewhere? Did you guys already talk about games?
Yeah, we talked about the list.
Okay.
Which I can go back to. Just give me a second. I can. As far as that goes. So if you're going to grade it, think of a grade.
C plus.
C plus on it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking of like a C is average, it was like average plus like a little bit because I remember a couple things, but it didn't like blow my mind or anything. So
you got The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, Battletoads, Cuphead, Crackdown 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Devil May Cry 5, The Division 2, Dying Light 2, Fallout 76, Forza Horizon 4, Gears of War, Pop Gears of War, Halo Infinity, Jump Force, Just Cause 4, Kingdom Hearts 3, Metro Exodus, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds update, Sea of Thieves update, and Seiko Shadows Die Twice update. Or not update, trailer.
Yeah, I'll stick with it. C plus. Like just because a lot of those games aren't my jam. So, and then like the show itself, just like it was a typical Microsoft show. Corny jokes and people being cool. So, it's fine. Nothing bad. Like, I don't think there's anything bad about being average. They were just like, they were a little bit better than average, which is great. They didn't fail. They didn't come out and things weren't broken or they didn't have like, it's not like they had nothing to show. It was fine. I'm not impressed with, 18 game. Like, okay, that's cool. But like, unless I have that game in my hand, it's just a number. So that's fine. It was fine.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, Grace.
I'm gonna give this one. I'll give it probably. Honestly, I was really happy with it. I'm gonna give it a B plus. A lot of the games that were shown were very much my jam, especially like Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That's super up my alley. Cyberpunk 2077. I love that. I've always liked the Halo games, so I'm excited to see how that turns out.
Okay.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
I'm giving it a C minus.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
Honestly.
Irish.
And this is the reason why. So, the one thing that we didn't talk about that we should have probably talked about is that they bought 5 developers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So Ninja Theory and Compulsion and whatever else they were. Wonderful. What are you giving me for it? You've run Lionhead into the studio. You've run Lionhead Studios into the ground. You bought out what is it? Visceral Games. You ran that into the ground. Okay, those developers don't. I mean, and that's the Fable games. The thought process that I have with this whole conference is it's so much stuff, but nothing of substance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's nothing of substance. What you're basically doing is that, okay, yeah, you have all of these games. So take out all the third-party games. Okay? Take out all of those. Okay? So let's take your exclusive stuff. Let's take why am I buying an Xbox? Okay? So one of the things that I'm looking at is that people say, well, they have the most powerful console. Great, wonderful. Yes, I agree with you. You have the most powerful console. 6 teraflops, all those teraflops, wonderful teraflops.
Oh, so many teraflops. It's crazy.
So many teraflops. Okay, but you have a developer that's going to be making a game that's going to run on the PlayStation 4 and or Switch. Okay, so there's no reason to push that machine, the Xbox One X, to push that machine to its limits, because you're not going to make a game that's not compatible, that's going to look crappy on the other systems, especially when the other system is beating you at least 2-1 right now in sales. Okay, so you have to be able to dump back onto your first parties. Okay, your first party exclusives. You showed Halo. Great. Halo Infinite, hopefully people, and I will find a link to it. That's just their new engine. That has nothing to do with the game. They were showing off their new engine.
Okay.
That's what it is. Okay.
All right.
So there's no game. So that game is at least 3-4 years off.
Yeah.
Okay. You have that. And then you have, Forza Horizon 4. Great. Your core gamers in this generation are not racing fans. There's a lot of them. I'm not saying that they're not out there, but it's not a console seller.
No,
you're not going to say, I'm
not.
going to go buy an Xbox One X so I can go play Forza.
Right.
Some might, but not the way that a Red Dead Redemption, if that was an exclusive, would, or not the way that a God of War would. And I hate throwing that out, but I mean that's the closest thing that we have is the God of War. People bought the God of War bundle for it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have that. So Sony right now is falling back on their first party exclusives, and look at what they've been able to come out with: Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Detroit Become Human. They have Spider-Man coming out. They have all of these blockbuster exclusives. Right now, your big blockbuster exclusive, your closest one that's coming out that's supposed to be blockbuster for you is Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
I've yet to look at somebody and believe that they're actually excited about that game. I was not impressed with the other two that I played slightly. So I don't know what they're doing.
And that's what I'm trying to get at is that it's not going to be a console seller. You're not going to go out and say, "Oh, I got to get Crackdown 3." That means I gotta go buy an Xbox. I don't need. They're not going to say that.
Yeah.
People are not going to say that. So the thing that I'm looking at with it, and what I'm trying to get to it is that Xbox. I think the people at Microsoft are so damn confused on their own identity of their own machine of what to do. It's like, wonderful, I have this machine that can do 20,000 things, but I really only need it to do 10.
Yeah. That's why when I was waiting for Microsoft to do something, just ear to the ground waiting for the exclusives and all that, and when nothing really came up that I was interested with, I thought, well, this must be their VR push then. What are they doing behind the scenes? They're not just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They're doing something, but what is it? And that's why I bet my chips on a VR reveal or something. We don't have any new games, but check out this headgear that you can do, because they push their console. And the reason why I've stuck with Microsoft for so long, is because they pushed it not as a game machine, but as a living room machine, right? It doesn't just play games, but it also does blah, 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 right? It's got the HD Blu-ray thing in it. It can do the Netflix and the HBOs and, a lot of things can do that now. But the reason why I wanted it to put it in the living room and say, now we've got one box. It will do everything. And so we don't need 5 boxes. We just got the one, and that's great. So it did that. It accomplished that. But now, where are the games at? I don't know where the games are.
That's what I was just going to get into, is that, are you willing to pay $500, $400, whatever it was that you paid for it, to say, I have this machine that will do all this stuff and occasionally play games?
Yeah, it was an investment, and that I hope, comes around in the end. And so far, it's kind of like shrug. I do watch Netflix on it and YouTube on it daily, so I do use it every day, but I only use it to play games once or twice a week. So
and you brought up the Blu-ray player thing. I want to touch upon that very, very short, very small. Mm-hmm. As far as the amount of Blu-ray and HD DVDs that I have, I think I have 7. Okay, I stream everything.
Yep,
that's what it is. So why am I paying $100 more to go out to buy more things that are just going to sit on my shelf that I haven't watched? Because if I'm going to watch it, I'm going to stream it. I'm not going to get up and I'm not going to take the disc and call me lazy for it, because, whatever. But I'm not going to get up and I'm going to put it in there. Oh, I got Deadpool, Deadpool's on Hulu or on Netflix. Okay, I'm going to pop that in, or it's on HBO. Yep. Why am I going to get up? That's the world that we live in now. It's a digital world. Mm-hmm. Everything's going to be streamed. I think to put the investment of a Blu-ray into something to make your console however much more it is, I don't think it's a smart idea. I don't think it was a smart idea from the beginning, as far as that goes. Now, I could be 100% wrong, and there's still a whole bunch of people that go out there and find collecting DVDs and Blu-rays as a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. But I have yet to walk into a house. There's one person that I know, it's actually my brother-in-law, that I've walked in and I've seen a collection of DVDs, and he probably has over 3,000 DVDs. But he's been collecting for the past 15 years. Okay.
Yeah, I got to a point.
Who else?
I got to
My
a
sister is like that.
I got to a point where I was like, I got to get rid of all of it. I had the shelves and shelves and shelves of DVDs. Finally condensed them down to like a binder, and then eventually went to the binder and put them back in their cases and went down to the local whatever and turned them in for 50 cents a pop. Like, you're right. I think if Microsoft, 2020 vision, looking backwards, whatever the saying is, I think if they were to redesign the Xbox for today's audience, there would be no optical drive in it whatsoever. And they would say,
no,
download and stream everything. And it's cheaper because there's no drive. And like, one of the things was like, oh, it's a Blu-ray disc, so it can hold more because the games are going to be bigger. But then I just download it digitally. And, we have short memories. There was a time when we didn't know if that was even going to be a thing. Do you remember when it was like, are we going to be able to download games? Is that going to happen? Is that going to be a thing in the new future? Like, are brick and mortars going to die? Like, are they going to hate us? Like, what's going to happen to GameStop if we can't return games? Like, it was a huge deal, and it turns out nobody really cares. Sometimes I buy discs. Sometimes I download them straight to my machine, whatever. And
it's kind of funny because I find myself downloading more than I have actual physical copies of games. When I was the last generation, I was completely the opposite. I had rows of games that I bought, physical games. Now it's like, oh, it's right there. I can buy it from my phone. Like, oh, this game comes out. In the morning, I can buy it from my phone, hit download. I come home and it's downloaded to my system.
That's so amazing. We live in the future, everyone.
Wait, you cut out what?
Oh, I said that's so amazing. We live in the future. It's great.
I know. Yeah. It's like, wow, I could do it from my phone.
Yeah.
Or my tablet. So with that, I think that's, I think Microsoft it's great substance. But it's nothing that we haven't seen already. If they came back and they said, hey, Cyberpunk 2077, that's an exclusive. That's only coming to Xbox. There's your console seller.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
Honestly.
Huge. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and by the way, it's coming out in a year.
Oh.
So be ready. I mean, that would be the mic drop of all mic drops for Microsoft for this console. They need a game like that. They need something that's going to come over and people are going to say, "Holy shit, I need that game. I need to play that game. I need to have everything about that game. I need to have the console that's going to run that game the best." They don't have anything to do that right now.
No, because any publisher, because they're not doing first party, any publisher that wants to put their stuff out, Microsoft doesn't have the install base anymore. They used to, but they don't with the PS4. The PS4 is a superior gaming machine at this point. So why would you lock yourself into one over the other? It doesn't make any sense anymore.
They're not going to.
No.
They're not going to. And this is where, we might be looking at the end of, the rumor is, there's no more integrations of Xbox. That's supposed. But then again, there's also a rumor going around right now that the new Xbox is codenamed Scarlet.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. I hadn't heard it either.
Yeah, that came out about 2 days ago. Why do
we need another one? How about games for this one first, please? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, so we can get into a whole chapter. We kind of beat that to death, but
okay.
No, I mean, I'm going to maintain my rating, I think, because even after hearing all of that, you guys made a lot of really good points. I'm going to maintain my rating of B+, just because I saw a lot of stuff that I personally liked as a viewer, like Cyberpunk, obviously amazing. And then Ori and the Will of the Wisps, super up my alley. Lots of anime-looking things, super up my alley. I'm so excited for Tunic. Tunic is the tiny little fox who runs around like Zelda and murders things.
That looked really cool.
And it's so good, and I'm so excited for it.
I like how she put that cute. It's the cute little fox that murders.
It's perfect. I love him. He's just going to be perfect for me. Because I have a PS4, And like, I have hard eyes for Tunic, 100%. And I know I'm just, I don't know. I'm kind of silly in that way, where like the game that made me be like, God dang it, I wish I had an Xbox, was Tunic, because I don't think it's coming to the PS4. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be on Xbox and I think maybe PC. I thought, but I mean, oh Jesus, it's so cute. I told my boyfriend already. I was like, hey, there's a game, and I'm gonna need your Xbox for it. And he was like, I'm sorry, what? And I was like,
you're like, murder fox. There's a murder fox.
There's a tiny murder fox.
There's a murder fox.
It's very reminiscent of Zelda, but in like a really cute kind of murder foxy, Dark Soulsy type of way. Like,
it is. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and it's really adorable, and you can run around in this really cute little world, and it's just like, I don't know, it looks really cute. And he was like, fine, you can have whatever you want. And I was like, yay.
Xbox One and Steam.
Yep. Okay.
2019.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited for my tiny murder fox, though. It gives me hard eyes.
So we're gonna get into our last one that we're gonna talk about, but the first one, really of the conference, and that was Bethesda. And let's see, how do we want to go about this?
Everything but Fallout and then Fallout.
I'm going to name something. I'm going to name a game that they talked about. You guys give your reaction, and then we'll get to the one that we really want to talk about.
Cool.
Doom Eternal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Just cool.
I mean, cool. Yeah.
I like Doom games. It's an id Software game. It's Doom. Wonderful. The Elder Scrolls Blades.
I'm so excited.
Very excited.
I'm so excited. It looks beautiful. It looks so beautiful. I can't wait until they bring it to consoles like they said they would. They better hold true on that.
I mean, look what they've done with Fallout Shelter. They put that on everything they possibly could. And if Blades,
that was going to be my next one. Fallout Shelter.
Yeah, if Blades is even half of what that game is, they'll put it on everything eventually. So I'm sure we'll see it everywhere, and it looks solid. They're really trying to like make this game. Like, what was even more impressive than like the setting and what it could do is that they're saying, here's a game for mobile, for console, for VR. It could do it all, even vertical and horizontal and sideways, whatever you want to do.
That was amazing.
That was
when they like
huge.
flipped it, I was like, I was like, whoa, it's awesome.
We're gonna get Fallout 1 and 2 remake in Blade Engine one day for your mobile device. I'm calling it now. This is a prototype for something that's huge. They want like this little segment of like these games that appear to be like half games, but they're not. They're full games, and they can go from mobile to console, everything. And that's like the holy grail. If you can put the same game on everybody's device everywhere, you're golden, even the Xbox.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So, Wolfenstein Youngbloods.
Pretty cool.
I mean, if you're way into shooting stuff and we all hate Nazis, so cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
Starfield, which all they did was show a glimpse, which I'm intrigued. I like space stuff, so intrigued.
Space
Rage 2.
Oh, just ahead. Real quick for Starfield. Space is awesome, and it's the thing that was impressive to me was it's their first original IP in 25 years.
Yes.
So it's been brewing in the back of their heads for 25 years, and so that's what makes me very excited about that.
You know what I'm calling it as?
What?
I'm calling it that's Todd Howard's retirement game.
That's his mic dropping game.
That's his mic drop game.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think after he'll stay on at Bethesda and do whatever, but his whole thing of, I mean, you're looking, that guy's been, 25, almost 30 years making games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that he loves his job. He seems that he loves his job from what he says, but, I think that's going to be his mic drop game. He'll support it, and then he's going to be, I'm walking off into the, I'm going off into the stars, type sort of thing.
Yeah. After Starfield, for him, it's just like a creative consultant for Bethesda for the rest of his life. And or any kind of passion project that comes into his head, he just gets to do. And then, that'll be it.
his day will consist of waking up at about probably 8:30 in the morning, going to work about 10 o'clock, and leaving about 1. Yeah.
And working very intensely for those couple of hours, doing awesome stuff, and then go, see ya! And then he's gone.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
But I think he'll still support, Bethesda the way that he needs to.
Oh, yeah.
Rage 2, which they brought in Andrew WK. I thought that guy really died. I didn't know that he was still alive. So
he
that
was awesome. I loved it.
He was so pumped.
Just what he does. And he still wears the same yellow
white pants.
Yeah, yellow white pants and shirt. That it reminds me of waking up when I was in college, and it's like, okay, whose dorm am I in? Oh, I have stuff on the front of me. I should probably go change because now I smell like a toilet and vomit and shame.
And I think I had fun last night.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think I had fun, and if you don't remember, get ready to do it again because I don't remember. So, let's see. Prey DLC.
Well, hold on. I mean, Rage 2. I'm excited for it. That's high in my radar of things that I want to check out.
That looks like a direct competitor to Borderlands.
Yes, 100%.
I can see that. Yeah.
That's what that game is.
We didn't get a Borderlands 3 announcement from anybody, right?
Not surprised.
Oh,
Not surprised. Pitchford got on there and was like, "Nope, it's not coming."
Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now. Don't expect us to be there. We're not going to be there. We're not doing anything with Borderlands 3. It's not going to be unveiled. Stop asking about it.
Okay. So all those people that want to play that, Rage 2 is there for you.
Basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quake Champions, which I did download Quake. Quake Champions is free forever if you download it this week. So by the time we post this, you might not be able to download it. But I did download it, and it's really, really fun.
I got to download this.
Really?
Yeah, go download it. It's really, really, really fun. In fact, you can't use a controller with it, so it's kind of making me like using a keyboard and mouse again.
Was
because it's really, really fast paced. Yeah. So it's really good. Then again, it's Quake too.
Yeah.
Prey DLC, like I said, Fallout Shelter is going to Switch and PlayStation 4 that night. I did download it for my Switch, and I turned it on once and I stopped because I remember why I did. Why I stopped playing Fallout Shelter. Before we get into the actual one, Grace, are you holding yourself down right now?
Yeah.
Because the Elder Scrolls 6 had a teaser trailer.
It did, and it looks beautiful.
I love
so pretty.
I love the answer that Todd Howard gave on one of the things. I think it was with Jeff Keighley, or it was on Rooster Teeth, whatever they're called. Yeah. They go over and they say, "So, Elder Scrolls 6, do you know when it's going to come out?" And Todd Howard went, "Nope."
Yep.
Nope.
We just don't know.
So, and then the big one.
I'm still excited though.
Then the big one that everybody was there for, or most people were there for, and that was Fallout 76. All the information that we got on it.
Yeah.
So let me kind of go over the information, and then we'll get on each one of these, then we'll get each other's take on it. So, one and the biggest drop of Fallout 76 is it's always online.
Yes. Interesting.
Always online. It's an always online game, but it's not an MMO.
Correct.
They made it clear it's not an MMO.
It's just an MO.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Multiplayer online. Yep. They said that if you saw another person walking around, that is another real live person. There are no NPCs in this game.
Yep.
So I think that one's huge. With that, it takes place in West Virginia. Like they said, you're coming out of the Vault 76.
Yes.
There will be base building to it. You can fire nukes
Yep.
places, which is going to be wonderful.
Yes. Which was interesting to me is that at the conference, they said like, they framed it as firing nukes at each other was a way to like blow up your enemy. But then in the no clip documentary about it, it was more like, no, this is how you create high level content. Like if you want to go like on a raid with your friends, nuke an area, go there, and all the super high level enemies spawn with all the crazy loot drops.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about killing people that you kind of know are there, or maybe are being mean to you. It's about getting your buddies together. Say like, let's go take down that awesome thing and see if we can get the loot out of it. Cool. Where do we want to nuke? This area gives this kind of enemy. That area gives that kind of enemy. Okay, let's go there instead. So that seems cool to me. That's a cool idea.
I agree entirely. I thought that was really, really cool when they kind of showed like different kinds of loot, like just the differences between the different areas. And I think it was like 3 nukes per area. Didn't they say something like that?
They actually came out and said that they have not decided on the amount of nukes in one area. Okay.
Yeah. I thought they said 3 at the conference, but I could be wrong.
Yep.
But just there's the variety.
I think you're thinking about the keys, like because you can find the keys.
Is 5.
It's 5.
There's 5 keys.
Okay.
I was remembering a 3, but I could just be remembering incorrectly.
I don't know.
The one thing, besides looking up the Cyberpunk 2077 stuff, this was the other game that I really, really started researching. And I watched a lot of interviews with Todd Howard and Pete Hines. And the one thing that I really like about them is that they have a very consistent message between them. If you're asking them one question, they're both giving you the same answer. Mm-hmm. Okay, which is something that I really, really, really like about it. So there's no conflicting stories right now.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. One, everybody is scared of the grieving of PvP because people can come up and shoot you and kill you. Mm-hmm. So, obviously the first thing that goes through people's heads are, I want this to be a single player experience. I don't want to mess around with PvP. I don't want to walk into an area that, suddenly I now have a whole bunch of people just shooting at me and now I can't do my job. I can't play the game. It ruins the game. They said that they have not decided on the amount of people that would be on a map. Besides that, the map is 4 times larger than Fallout 4. And they said that you're not looking at thousands of people. You're not looking at hundreds of people. You're looking at possible just dozens of people, on that. So you take that type of big of a space. There's no fast travel. There's no vehicles. So you take that type of space and you put all these people on there. You can run into somebody, something might happen to you, or somebody wants to be a jerk to you or whatever. But there's no way that they're going to follow you all over the place. It's just not. You're just not able to, and you're not going to spawn in another area where all you're going to be doing is getting wrecked.
There was, if I can interrupt real quick, there was one other piece of information that I've only heard them say a few times because I think they're not 100% sure how it's going to work. But I think they said that when you look on your map, you're going to be able to see where everybody else is at all times.
Yes, you're going to see all the other players.
So if you come on and you go and you want to be alone, well, look at your map. Like, oh, people are over here. I'm not going to go over there. But I mean, the real answer is if you're complaining that much about this being a multiplayer game, this is not the game for you. Do not buy it. Close your mouth. Wait for Cyberpunk 2077. And that's the game for you. Like, just don't play it. Stop complaining. Just don't play it.
Yep.
But anyways, that's...
So they've looked at that. There is base building in it, but there was, and they've said this too, if you feel that you want to be completely nomadic through the whole game, you don't have to base build. Cool. You don't have to. The thing, though, is then what you're doing is basically you're requiring yourself to make relationship with games. So what they're saying is that, somebody could be scavenging and all they're doing is looking for weapons. Okay, so then they're going to be looking to trade. Okay, so then you can go up to somebody and trade with them, or you can make a sign that says, ammunition, here. So you would go and you explore for ammunition so you can get stuff. So it's going to be a community of, either people are going to be complete jerks on it or people are going to start helping people so they can actually get through the game. Not that it's a game breaking thing, but they're supposedly making the game that you can't just kill everybody. It's not going to be that type of game.
Right. And it seems like they've made it really easy to log out and log back in. Like, it doesn't break your stuff. If you do build a settlement, it goes with you. So if there is a jerk on a server, you log out, you log back in, and you're on a different server, and you just don't have to deal with that person. And I imagine in their beta, when they go through this, they're going to find some way to like ban people or just say like, I never want to match with this person, or they'll end up doing something, because there are going to be jerks out there. But I think the vast majority of people that are going to want to play this game are going to be people that want to play together with people.
Yes, that's the way I'm looking at it. Yeah. I'm looking to team up with a whole bunch of people, put, a pizza in front of me and a couple of beers and let's go Friday night until early Saturday morning, and we're raiding and we're exploring things.
Building stuff together. Yes. I like the thought that you can really take your character and not customize, but like drill down on a profession. Like, hey, I want to be the guy that builds weapons. So let's, for our next raid, can we go to this location because I need this piece so I can make this weapon, and then everybody can have one. Like, awesome. I'm going to go and let's kill this enemy so I can cook the food and it'll be the healing thing that everyone can have. Great. Like, that kind of connection and like mini community that you can create will be awesome. Like, what we're going to see, I think, is people like going like, hey, I'm a weapons guy. I want to join your game. Come on, let's play because I got these weapons, or hey, I'm the guy with the cool armor stuff. Please, can I please join your group? I'll give you these things. It's going to turn into that instead of people griefing each other. I really hope.
Well, I think, go ahead.
I was just going to say that somebody like me who I typically don't like multiplayer games where I'm forced to have it be multiplayer. I usually like having the option. But like, I think in a game like Fallout, especially the way that they're going about it, I think they're going about having it be an only online game. I think they're doing it really well. And I think that I would want to play it still, even though I don't have the option to just play by myself, because I do think that with the community of Fallout as well, just how many nice people I know that are a part of it. I don't know if that sounds weird, but like, just the entire community seems like they're really nice and just an enmeshed community, and I feel like that's what they're going to want to do. They're going to want to play together as opposed to tear each other apart. And I'm sure that there will be like, of course, there are going to be the jerks, like you guys mentioned, where they're just gonna like go and try and like murder you and take your things and stuff like that, if that's even a thing, or if you kill somebody, you take their stuff.
But I mean, at least if there was a group that came together in this game and said like, we are going to be like the Fallout 76 Raiders, like it would be like piracy in Elite Dangerous. Do you guys know about that at all? Yeah, where they're like, hi, we're pirates. We're going to take your things, or you can give them to us, or we're going to shoot you. What do you want to do? Like, it'll like, hey, we're raiders. Look at our crazy armor and our big weapons. Can we have your caps and your stuff? We'll kill you if you don't, but it's your choice. I think we'll get that. And the other thing that I'll hope that they'll put in, which would be just like a no thank you emote, right? Like if someone comes up to you and you're like on a quest and you're doing like a solo thing, like, hi, I want to, like, oh, no thank you, I'm good. Just like some kind of, and another person, fine, see you later, or, like, cause sometimes you'll be in there and you'll be playing alone and that's what you want to do. And so there should be like a polite way to go about being like, no thank you, and not have to be rude about it, because these have always been single player games. So there's got to be a lot of people that want to play that way. At least at first.
I think also the population also of how many people they're actually going to allow on the map. I think that's going to be a really, really big factor. I mean, if you're such a big map, 4 times the size of Fallout 4, huge. You start putting 10,000 people on there. Yeah, people are going to get, all they're going to be doing is shooting people. But if you're saying that, all I'm going to do is, okay, let's say 10,000. Let's say all I'm doing is putting 100 people on there. Yeah. And that's a huge location for 100 people to be doing things. And supposedly there's a story, but there's not a progression story. Like, you just pick up quests as you start to go. So like, you don't need to be in this one place and travel all the way to the left side of the map to pick up this quest. And then you got to go travel to the right side of the map to go pick up the quest, another one. Like, you can find 12 or 20 different quests between those. do what you want. So
I imagine it's like every other Fallout game where you're on the main quest, and then on your way from point A to point B, you pick up 12 other quests on your way to do the main quest. Yeah. You just remove the main quest, and just as you're traveling to cool looking thing in the distance, you'll come across those 12 little things to do, and then you'll just start doing them. And if someone else is doing them, well, then you do them together, and make friends, be nice. Everyone,
I think that's going to be the other thing too. I think there is going to be a community because of people playing Fallout. I think there is going to be a community that comes over and says, watch the forums, watch the PlayStation communities, watch the Xbox communities, watch Reddit. PC communities. They're going to come over and say, hey, we're going to get 100 people together. Let's say that's the limit, or 50 people if that's the limit, and say, you know what, we're going to join here. These are the rules. If you don't follow them, we're going to ban you. We're going to kick you, or something like that. So I think that those type of communities are going to start to form also. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like clan to a point. Yeah. I don't want to call it clan because there's no clans in it.
It'll be like unofficial clans, like Discord servers and stuff. I can imagine if you buy Fallout 76, 4 or 5 months after the game is launched, you'll load in, there'll be the intro cutscene, you'll go through the vault and build your character, you'll step out, and there'll be like a big sign that says, this server is patrolled by blah, blah, blah. Here's our Discord. Here's how you ask for help, and it'll be like, this is not what I was expecting, but okay.
Well, that brings up another thing that they have confirmed. They're saying that it's not going to be at launch just because they can't do it, but they are going to find a way how to do it, is there are going to be mods. Yeah. They are going to be putting mods into the game. So people can still create for the game, whether or not you like those or not, but that's still going to be an option. The other thing too is that VATS is still there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
VATS is still there. The funny thing about that is that it's now real-time VATS. Mm-hmm. So
we haven't, as far as I know, we haven't seen what that looks like yet, but the way that it's described sounds very interesting. You just have to click on the guy where you want to shoot him, and then let your character's stats take over. So if you have a sniper build, you got to click on their head and hope you get a headshot instead of being a Twitch player, which is a nice way to level the playing field.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
I am very, very, very excited with what I'm hearing about 76. Yes. I mean, I haven't pre-ordered yet, but I know that if you do pre-order, you get into the beta. And I don't think it's just off Bethesda Net. I think you get something when you do pre-order, and then you got to register something at Bethesda Net or something, because I know that GameStop is advertising that if you pre-order, you get into the beta.
I watched a YouTube video on a dude that does a lot of Fallout videos, and he was saying that people are already getting their beta codes. The code doesn't do anything yet, like the beta hasn't started, but you buy, if you pre-order the game anywhere, you do something and you get a beta code. So it sounds like they want everyone in on the beta. So I kind of want to just pre-order the basic version of the game just to get in on the beta and be part of the conversation, kind of help direct it and help things.
See, now that's the thing that I'm wondering, is the beta going to ruin it for me? And do I just wait?
I imagine the beta is going to be, here's the intro to the game, how you create a character, and then here's the world with the tools in it, like here's how you build things, here's how you craft things, but it'll have like a limited number of quests, and it will have a limited number of like recipes, so it doesn't spoil the entire game, because they want to test like the technology in the background, like how they get people to match make and all that nonsense, but then just to see how people interact in the game and to see what the response is to their online, like, hey, this was cool when this happened, hey, this really sucked when this happened, and then they can, as Todd was saying, pull the levers in the background and change how the game is going to be in the end. The beta isn't to spoil the game, the beta is to figure out how to make the game better, I hope.
Yep.
Yeah.
I interrupted you though. Like, why do you think the beta would ruin the game for you, or it might ruin the game for you?
Because I think what happens with the beta is that people start to get into, this is going to be the way that I'm going to do this, and they're going to start to try to think of like ways to cheese the game.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like like, hey, I found this in the beta. Hopefully they didn't patch it. Now I'm going to exploit it, and that's what I kind of don't like about betas. I'll tell you, maybe this is just a bad thing. It's the last beta that I was in. I tested Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and I just like the beta was great, but then it's like I got into the game and I was just like, this reminds me of the beta. Like it didn't impress me anymore. Okay. You know.
I see what you're saying.
I also beta tested for Destiny, and I didn't have that reaction. So, I mean, I guess that could also be just different people at the same time, which means I could also see what you're saying, why you think that maybe this could also spoil it for the actual Fallout 76 for you as well.
Yeah, because I think the thing that got me with Destiny is that it's like, okay, so you had to start over. Like, you didn't get to carry your character, but it felt exactly the same. Like, I've already done this. Like, to the point of redundancy, because I played the hell out of Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
And the beta. Like, I played the hell out of it. I'm like, perfect. And then I get there and I'm just like, this is what it is. I bought a beta. That's what it felt like to me. I bought a beta, you know, and then that's kind of where I've just been kind of soured with Destiny. Is
yeah, that's fair. I can see that.
So.
I mean, what that sounds like is a very efficient beta where they were like, cool, we already built the game the way we wanted it. It didn't break, so we didn't have to change things. So here's the game.
The problem is that the game sucked.
Well,
it didn't completely suck. They had, I think it was something like a writer walked out and took a bunch of content at the very, right towards the actual release, and then they didn't push it back like they probably should have. And actually took the time to work on that.
I mean, the story behind the development of Destiny could fill hours. It's very
it absolutely could. It absolutely could. That was just my shorthand version of it for the last 10 minutes or so that we have going on here. So that was just my shorthand version.
So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to trigger you.
No, I was not triggered. I
Grace.
just wanted to make sure it was Kay. I didn't mean to start something. Yes.
Grace, Kay dies.
Oh no.
Don't tell me these things.
I'm sad for Nathan Fillion. At least for the 76 beta, it seems like they're going to use it to adjust the game. Like they've straight up said, Todd and Uncle Pete have come out and been like, look, we don't know a lot of how this is going to work. This is new for us. So we're doing a beta so we can make it good. Right.
Yep.
And so that versus, can you check for bugs? Can you no-clip through this wall and get to the boss at the end of the dungeon? That's not what we're checking, or that's not what they're checking. They want to see, how this type of game works with lots of people in it. It seems like they're really happy internally with how it works. They're saying it's fun and it's great, which, I mean, if it wasn't fun and great, they wouldn't be out here saying it's ready to play, right? So
I think the other thing too is that they're probably stress testing everything too, because look at how many games have had that online component. You need to be online, Destiny or not Destiny. Oh yeah, even to the point Destiny, The Division, really any type of online component that you had, and they've had problems with, just the launch of it.
Yeah.
Just the launch of it, and so I know that they're going to want to make sure that they're ready for any type of stress that the servers are going to need to have. And with the response that I'm hearing about this is that this game is bigger than I think what some people realize. Already, I think this is going to end up being one of the top selling Fallout games ever.
I think it depends on how the beta goes, because the beta is going to either generate huge buzz for it or it's going to kill it.
Yeah.
I like what Bethesda, what they do and the way they go about it. They're very honest and upfront about things. And so I'm looking at this as very positive. I can't wait to get in there and see what they've got. And so I think it's going to generate positive buzz. And I think if anyone who knows what a Fallout is, they will be buying this game regardless if they understand if it's multiplayer or single player. I think the buzz is going to get way out of control. It might even get to the point where it hurts them. They have to, there will have to be more reveals and more Todd sitting down with, here's how this game works, just to temper expectations, because You know, right now there seems to be like a lot of shrugging. Like, we don't know exactly how A, B, and C is going to work yet. Before the game launches, they better know exactly how it's going to work and show people this is how it's going to work. And I think they will. Like, I at this point, I trust them that we'll get a series of Fallout videos with the funny animated things, but then like, here's what you need to expect, and here's how the game's going to work. And so people know like, oh, this is for me, or, oh, it really isn't. And with all the betas and with the YouTube and with people reviewing and podcasts like this, if you're interested in this game whatsoever, you will know by launch date if you want it or not.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. So, grade. I haven't gone first on a grade yet, so I'll go first. I'm giving Bethesda an A on this. I think they showed off. I think Bethesda by far had the best conference out of all the conferences that went on. They didn't bullshit. They said, this is what's happening. This is what we're doing. And they do kind of have, without actually saying it, but kind of strutting their stuff and you know, pumping their chest out a little bit, saying, we make good games. You want to play our games? Great. You don't want to play our games? Fine. Don't fucking play our games. You know, you don't have to. But we're going to make games for people who want to play games. And that's what we're doing. And I think Todd Howard had the best line out of all the showcases, every single one of them. And that was when he was going over and saying, hey, yeah, you know that collector's edition that we have, that helmet or whatever? By the way, it comes with a map. Oh yeah, it fucking glows in the dark. I love that part.
Yeah.
Like that was it still cracks me up when I think of it.
That's awesome. So cool.
Yeah, it's like it fucking glows in the dark. It's like I just think that they had confidence. They had confidence in their product.
They have a good product.
Yeah. Huh?
They have a good product. Like you could like they walked in with I don't want to be crude, with a big part of their bodies proudly extruded, saying like, this is just who we are. This is just what we do. I'm sorry, but we're good. We're good at this. And so here's some more. Like, if you don't like this, that's fine. But we're really proud.
Pete Hines gets up there in one of the interviews or whatever, and he says, yeah, we're going to the party and I'm getting drunk because this is what we celebrate. I mean, but once again, we don't have any fun gimmicks. Like, yeah, they brought Andrew WK out, but Andrew WK does the theme to Rage. So it makes sense to bring him out. So, you know, he came out, he opened up the show. It was, you know, hard hitting or whatever like that. And then it went over and said, these are the games that we have. This is when they're coming out. This is what we have for the future. Oh, yeah, by the way, we have a new Fallout game that we're trying something new with. If you like it, cool. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine, too. Oh, yeah, by the way, as a mic drop, we also have Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, and you know, they had specifically Todd and Pete as well, but I think one thing that speaks to them as a company, as a company, is how non-cringy things were. Because they were not reading things off a teleprompter that 28 people took a year to write. I'm sure they sat down together and said, hey, how should we say this? Oh, we should say it like this. So let's spell check it. Cool. We're good. Let's go out. And it sounded like them just talking. And so it wasn't cringy at all. Like, I think every single one of Todd's jokes landed because he was being real and genuine. Even the Andrew, WK thing, that was kind of a bit much to me, but that's because the surprise was ruined. The Rage 2 surprise was ruined. That was supposed to be a surprise, right?
Yep.
Canadian Walmart ruined it. They ruined it for everyone, you Canadians. But seriously, Rage 2 was supposed to be a complete, like, we open the show, here's a rock star, and check out this brand new game. That's the theme song you just heard. Like, that was supposed to be this big wow moment. I'm sorry, say it again? If you looked in the background on the screen, they never put Rage 2 it. They just put the characters and then the colors. They never had a Rage 2 logo. Yeah. So it's like, what in the hell would have this been, you know, that people are doing? But Pete Hines had the best comeback for that. He says, well, here's as you guys know about our first games from our friends over, you know, at the Canadian Walmart that decided to tell everybody, you know, I mean, they took it in stride.
And that's where And I think that's where the maturity of a third-party developer comes in, that a lot of other developers, smaller developers, should really look at we've made games for 25 years or plus, 25 plus years, okay? Some of them have hit, some of them haven't. But we stick to our formula of what we do. And this is who we are, this is our identity, and this is how we're going to continue to keep rolling with what we're doing. Once again, you can play our game, and we love that you play our game. And you can play all of them, you can play one of them, you can play any mixture of in between. If you decide that you don't want to play any of them, that's okay too. Because if you don't want to play our games, that's fine. But don't think that we're not going to try to get you to try to play one of our games, because that's going to push us to make a better game for you. You know, and that's their identity. And it's when we're going to come out with a solid product that hopefully people enjoy playing.
Hear.
Yeah. No, definitely. I agree. I also give Bethesda an A. I thought that they were the best out of all of the conferences that I watched, or out of the conferences that I even just heard about because I couldn't watch them.
Is that just because of Elder Scrolls?
No, not just because of Elder Scrolls. I think they did an amazing job with Fallout as well, and I think that they overall just I feel like they released a lot of stuff in a good, solid amount of time. I think that everything got a good amount of screen space, except for Elder Scrolls 6. I wish I could have seen a little more about that, but the way they did it was good and clever and intelligent. I will say I want more, but it was good, definitely. I also loved the Skyrim very special edition, the cute little commercial that they had in there.
That's real. That's real.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Yes. If you have an Alexa, you can say play Skyrim. It's already downloaded on all Alexas.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
If Alexa play Skyrim and they'll start doing it. It started out as a joke, but it's real.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Holy cow.
And, Grace, your day will come. There will be an E3 in the future where they just come out and go, Elder Scrolls! And then just for the next hour, they just take you on a tour of wherever it is, showing you all the things. And then I'll be here on the podcast going, but where's Fallout 5? I've been playing 76 for 6 years now. Where's,
I'm thinking 2019.
Starfield.
We'll have more information.
More info.
More information, yes. I think
they're
2020 or 2021, I'm guessing.
You realize that 2019 is going to focus on 3 games for Bethesda, and that's going to be the updates coming to 76. Yeah. That's going to be Starfield,
yeah,
and Elder Scrolls. Those are going to be their 3 top games. So,
Blades.
Which hopefully next year at this time we will be there in California.
That would be fun.
Attending. We are trying to plan. I have some ideas. But besides that, any final thoughts before we sign off?
I think overall that was a good E3. They showed people, there's a lot of games coming, a lot of cool games. I mean, not all of them are for me, but there seemed to be a wide variety of games for everyone. And as someone who's a gamer, has been a gamer for a long time, I love the variety. I think it's great that when, there are things for everyone. You want the racing game, there's a race. You want the shooty, there's the shooty. You want the fighty, there's the fight. There was something for everyone. There were a lot of returning franchises that were doing cool stuff. I'm sure you guys talked about The Last of Us 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that trailer was I borrowed a friend of mine's PS3 to play The Last of Us. Beautiful game. Fantastic. I loved it. I can't wait to see more. So just in general, the vibe of this E3 was an A for me. I think it was a good E3, and I'm excited for all the stuff that's coming up.
Yep.
I agree entirely. I would give this E3 overall, I would give it an A as well, because mostly I would give it that because of the diversity of games. Just like you were saying, it seems like there's literally something for everybody, no matter what kind of game you want, no matter what your taste is. If you really love anime fighting games, that's going to be coming out, there's
Jump
something
Force
for you.
Yeah,
Jump Force. And then if you really love moody sorts of games, there's something for you. And then of course there's Tunic and Ori and those types of games that are coming out for little little like cute thing lovers like me. So yeah, no, I think that overall everybody did a pretty darn good job. I think that the C3 overall was really awesome. They showcased a lot of stuff, and I'm really, really excited for this next year going forward.
You know what? I'll agree with you guys on all of that. I think it's I would give it an A also. Once again, diversity. I think the last 2 years, it always felt like, okay, if you watched Microsoft's and then you watched Sony's and you watched Ubisoft's and you watched all of them, it's like they were always like, yeah, there was a couple of new games, but they were always showing like the 4 or 5 core games that all of them had. So it felt like there wasn't a lot. Like this one is like, there's so many games. Like we could probably go on. We've been on for almost 2.5 hours. I think 3 hours now.
Yeah.
We're at 2.5 hours on this podcast, and we haven't even we try to breeze through the conferences. What if we actually dove into every game? We'd be here for another 2.5, 3 hours, if not longer. On that, I think the promise is that the reward is that if you are a gamer, that you are seeing a lot of good things that are going to be happening and coming out. Your time and money feels like it's going to be well spent with these games coming out. I think there's a maturity that the developers have come to. All of them, that they realize, okay, this is what gamers want to see. Maybe the formulas of how they present it could be tweaked a little bit, as we talked about. But as far as, we don't want to sit and see sales stats, and we don't want to sit and see, services and all. We don't care about that. What we want to see is, we want to see, what are we going to be playing in the next 6 months? What are we going to be playing in the next year? What are we going to be looking forward to? And I think all of the developers have hit upon that. So I think that's good. So as we talked about, that I think wraps up episode 2 for us. Check out our Twitch, even though we're broadcasting on Twitch, but check out our Twitch, twitch.tv/the Save Point Podcast, Twitter, at the Save Point. Find us on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, iHeartRadio, which we just got approved for iHeart. So we are listed on iHeartRadio, tuned in, Spreaker, and soon to be on Spotify once we get that all up and running. So you can find us, join us, subscribe if you want, just follow us, leave us comments, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, give your opinions, because we love to hear them. We would love to get audience interaction with us. Till next week, signing off.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.